Have you ever been banned from anything? A game, a store, a restaurant? What's the story behind it and did you feel you deserved it? My uncle was banned from a grocery store for gaining access to the PA system and shouting for the next 5 minutes, "Everything in the store is free." I really want to do this now. I was banned from my town library for not returning Arthur and the Chicken Pox for over 10 years. Walked in when I was 17 and they expected me to be returning it. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. I got banned from a McDonald's play place when I was 11 for riding the food trays down the slides. Me and my friends were banned from our McDonald's play place for being 17 and in the play place. I was banned from a video arcade when I was about 12 for putting in my initials when I got a high score. The owner was a straight edge kind of guy, and my initials are PCP. Shrug his place, his rules. Those are my initials. I'm apparently banned at a pizza place I've never been to because the owner's daughter doesn't like me. Good show, very classy. I'd go there and see if they actually do anything. Halloween had just passed and my friend had a few tubes of fake blood left. We were at the local youth club and decided to go into the kitchen and find the largest knife, cover it in blood, and then we went into the boys' bathroom and created a murder scene where I was on the ground with the knife next to me and blood surrounding me. One of the younger boys was entering the bathroom and from the sound, I quickly held my breath to keep still. The boy walked in and screamed the loudest scream I've ever heard. He panics and rushes to one of the adults and starts screaming at them what's happened. Not too long after, the wife of the owner walks into the bathroom, whilst I'm doing the whole not breathing, eyes open staring at the ceiling with no movement and mouth open deal. She also screams and instantly after, the youth club nurse rushes in like a champ and goes to take my pulse. As soon as her fingers touch my neck I shout, "I'm alive." She's a miracle worker. Needless to say, they were not impressed. Me and my friend were banned for life. Of course I deserved it. Good show. Should have immediately cleaned up and disappeared when the boy ran out of the room for an adult. I was banned from the Sears at my local mall as a teenager for engaging in a sport we called sofa hurdling. I deserved it. I could totally kick your butt at sofa hurdling. I was banned from some Norwegian souvenir shop because I tried to turn on a lighter before buying it. I wanted to buy a lighter with a picture of a moose on it. I turned it on once to see if it worked. The cashier freaked out and started yelling at me. In shock, I put the lighter back. I then realized that was stupid. I wanted to buy that lighter, so I picked it up again. At that point the cashier walked over to me and started yelling at me in English while threatening to call the police if I didn't leave immediately. I guess, when you're as hideous as me, people just expect you to be up to no good. Norwegians are highly flammable. They did right thing. I am banned for life from a California beach for digging a 6-foot deep hole when I was 12 and putting my towel over it. The idea was to catch villainous towel touchers. It worked too well and before long some random guy was in my deep hole. Hilarity ensued and I was banned. I was banned from a hermit crab care forum because I inquired which is the best way to cook them. I love the fact that there's a forum specifically for that. I would probably read it just for the general knowledge. I was banned from the local mall as a teenager because I threw a backpack full of dirt off the second story of the parking garage, and it just happened to hit a mall cop at the bottom. I deserved it. That was a real dirtbag move. I was banned from Neopets for inappropriate messages on the message board. I'd never posted there ever. It was lies. I was a billionaire, mostly from refreshers to get paintbrushes and code stones, but still. Club Penguin. Dang, 10-year-olds are so touchy. Based on a letter I received, I'm technically banned from every FedEx office in the country. I feel like this requires more detail. I was banned from our Ugly Peep Alliance. I like that subreddit. I got banned from RuneScape around age 8. I was tricking people into giving me items because free stuff is awesome. When I found out I got banned, I was terrified because at age 8 that was a huge deal to me. I immediately ran home and told my mom because I was afraid she was going to get contacted by Jajux. At the time I definitely felt like I deserved it, and I haven't played the game ever since. TLDR, I'm a bad man and did bad things on RuneScape. A relative of mine was apparently banned from the country of Oman, escorted to the airport at gunpoint and everything. I demand a follow-up. I had a hacked Xbox, original, with a bigger hard drive. I truly only did it to use it as a media center and to rip my legally owned games onto it. It had an off switch I could flip that would let me play games on Xbox Live unhacked so I wouldn't get banned. Well, roommate let his friend sign on but did not flip the switch so my console and gamer tag was instantly banned. I was less than happy about this but oh well. My roommate had one of those. I always just played the PS3 because I was terrified of messing up the modded Xbox. When I was 15 I was in an Urban Outfitters trying on some pants. I got my foot stuck and tripped and fell through the door breaking it, and a mirror. Banned. Strong overreaction on their part. True story, my grandfather is banned for life from the entire country of Mexico for cheering for a bull during a bullfight circa the 1970s. I have very little detail about this because my grandma wouldn't let him talk about it for fear of corrupting me, and no, I have no idea how they would enforce this. He was bullshitting you. I also got kicked out of Subway for playing the dong game. The trick is to say it as loudly as you can on your first turn. Spelling. I'm banned from most of the main street adult shops in the nearest city for engaging in sword fights with corn cobs. Corn cob, I demand satisfaction. Back when I was in grade school, there was a huge yo-yo craze when the ball-bearing ones came out, and there was this convenience store that would sell them. We'd go through them fairly quickly, accidentally slamming them into walls or floor, so he would get a lot of business. Anyway, I bought what was probably my 20th one. And as soon as I opened it up, in the store, I noticed the ball bearings were right fricked, which meant it wouldn't sleep. I brought it to the store clerk's attention. He said it was fine. I said it clearly wasn't. He accused me of trying to rip him off. I told him to go frick himself and he banned me indefinitely. I remember that craze. Good times, man. I'm banned from the electronics section of Walmart for helping their customers. Multiple incidents. Pick out laptops, desktops, printers and accessories when there were no Walmart employees around to answer their questions. When my wife goes to Walmart and I'm with her, I always head over to the electronics section to look and see what's new, and maybe buy a game, flash drive, etc. until she finishes and comes and gets me. Walmart keeps asking me to please not help their customers and to please stay out of their electronics department, and I keep on going back anyway. Same thing used to happen at Circuit City years ago, but they were more aggressive and eventually I could not enter their doors without being met within a couple minutes and kicked out. Best Buy started out asking me to leave, but their manager realized I was sending them a lot of business and these days I'm tolerated there. I own a computer repair shop and I do not sell new computers. When a customer wants a new computer, I find them the best deal I can, which meets their needs and budget. I hope you won't mind when I will PM you about which laptop I should buy when I need one. Cause I will remember you. One of my uncles was banned from ever entering England again. What did he do? He was on a bus and when the driver stopped and got out, for whatever reason, he took control of it. I don't know what he did, was before I was born, but my mum thinks he just drove it normally. Then he got caught by the police and deported. I was banned from my old manager's office at work. Here's why. I had been feeling a little ill the week prior, and eating nothing but chicken soup. This led to a buildup of rather rank and unsavory odor in my intestines. We had established that I was a gas bag of filth after I smoked out his office a couple times, and he told me if I did it again, I would be banned. I went to his office and conversed with him normally a couple times on this day, and while apprehensive at first, he gradually dropped his guard. I was standing in his doorway, and inadvertently, I let the monkeys out of the stinky zoo. I realized it and quickly dismissed myself, and walked down the hall. A co-worker, a portly and stuffy programmer, walked past me right towards my manager's office. He gets to the doorway, stops, and says, "Hey, I was one. Oh, he shakes his head back and forth and recoils as if he was punched in the nose. I'll come back later." My manager can be heard loudly proclaiming it wasn't me. I went back to my desk laughing, unlock my computer and have a new email in the inbox that read, "You are banned. I deserved it. TL. DR." Left a noxious fart trap for a co-worker in my boss's office. Apparently I'm banned from sitting next to unaccompanied children on certain airlines. Don't know exactly what I did, but there it is. I'm sure I deserve it somehow. Yeah, the mayor of London was asked not to sit next to his own children on a flight cause the air hostess assumed he wasn't their father. Got blackout drunk in an artsy fartsy pub that doubled as an art gallery for hipsters. Woke up on the street with shattered pieces of sculptures around me on the road with a handful of people cheering. Later I was told I started yelling at some kid about his stupid scarf and he started lipping back saying he was some hotshot artist, so I ended up somehow lugged some giant statue he made and proceeded to fist fight it in the streets outside the bar. I was obviously banned from said pub. You, sir, are a man of action. I am banned from my local movie theater through no fault of my own. One night me and a few buddies wanted to see a movie. I don't remember the movie because we never got to buy the tickets. In fact, we didn't make it past the elevator. The theater is set up so that there is a ground floor with a few security guards and an elevator taking you a few floors up to the actual theater. Upon the doors to the elevator closing, friend A, we'll call him John, decided based on 18 years of life experience that it would be to our advantage if he yelled in at the top of his lungs. His reasoning being, dude, we're in a metal box. They can't hear us. Despite my best pleading with God, we all crap ourselves slightly as we felt the elevator stop and return to the ground floor. The doors opened. In stepped 3 security guards. 3 black security guards. Is there a problem in here? Defusing the situation, John replies, number, are you bringing a problem in here? And the verbal fight was on. For almost 10 minutes the 3 guards and John were up in each other's faces spewing a mixed bag of racial slurs, expletives, and hand gestures. Me and friend B, we'll call him Gabe, backed towards the door, as a general mass of people in the lobby seemed to be doing as well. Finally, the 3 security guards push John out the door and tell him not to come back. I thought this whole episode was over as I was walking away from the theater when I hear smash, smash, freaking run. Freaking run. I didn't look back. I just booked it away with John and Gabe. Not to perpetuate racial stereotypes, but an oafy Irish ginger, a small Hispanic guy, and a skinny Italian didn't stand much of a chance in a running race from 3 black guards. We made it about a block before tackle. Long story short, they dragged us back to the security room in the theater, roughed us up a little bit, took our pictures and let us go, under the agreement that we would never be back to that particular theater. They now have our pictures up at the front desk. Only on the way out did I notice the broken glass in the front of the theater. It turns out that John had smashed a Snapple bottle on the sidewalk, then threw a brick through the window. Great friends I have. TLDR. Friend provokes 3 black guards with racial slurs. Verbal fight ensues, followed by chase. Flying tackles were distributed, and a perma-ban from a movie theater results. Bricks may or may not have been thrown. I'm pretty sure if any time during that argument you yelled, John, shut the frick up you dumbass, and apologized to the gods for your friend's stupidity, you would have gotten away with it. I was banned from my best friend's father's house because of a conversation between my best friend and her mom at her mom's house. Somehow I got blamed and accused of being disrespectful and a bad influence at age 14. Because the virgin who doesn't drink, smoke, or do drugs at 14 is a horrible influence. I got this too. From the family of a kid who told his parents to frick themselves. I was his only friend though, so they probably thought, my son wouldn't do that on his own. It must be that boy he hangs out with, and said I was a bad influence. He hates his parents more now. I got kicked out of Boston Pizza for getting very drunk and proceeded to puke in the bushes out front of said overpriced pizza restaurant. And Summers, everyone's favorite game. Who can stand in Ann Summers the longest before being kicked out? Being a 14-year-old boy in that store is always suspicious. Usually involves a chase to get a few extra seconds in the store. I am perma-banned. I got banned from Pyongyang. I think I'm one of the few people who isn't banned from Pyongyang yet. Frick Kim Jong-un. A friend of mine was banned from a provincial town in the middle of England, along with a bunch of friends, for stealing the town's Christmas tree, pretty tall by all accounts. I was once banned from a Woolworth. Got into a fight with some stranger trying to marry my wife. Said he was bona fide or something. I was banned from Club Penguin. No, I didn't deserve it. I wanted more freaking missions and they didn't have any. I had to let my thoughts be known. You wanted more missions, so they gave you one more. Go away. You succeeded. I was banned for life from Malibu Grand Prix, a local go-kart place. They even put my picture on the wall. This was because my first time ever doing go-karts when I was about 8. I thought it was a bumper car place, so I proceeded to bumper car the crap out of everyone's karts. My kart was made of some kind of space-age material because it was unstoppable. I ended up disabling everyone else's ride while continuing to do laps by myself. My senior year of high school, I used to get coffee from Dunkin' Donuts every morning before I'd go to school. A good friend of mine worked at the drive-thru. We have a unique sense of humor. By unique I mean vulgar. I pulled up to the drive-thru and Jake was there, so I felt comfortable making jokes. He said total is $2.19 and I replied, will you settle for $1.09 and a blowjob? Jake laughed. Do I have to come inside for that or can I do this through the window? I asked. Then I heard what sounded like Sasquatch scream over the intercom thing, pull up right now. Weird. I pulled up and his manager, someone I knew personally already, told me that the speaker played everything I said. There were small children in there, so the company had to give them free donuts or something like that. Riddle me this. Why the frick do you have the headset then? He told me if I wanted coffee from Dunkin' in the future I would have to go into the store and that I would no longer be served via drive-thru. TL. DR. Blowjobs are not acceptable as currency at Dunkin' Donuts. Who would have known? Posted to RTLDRs. Me and 2 friends got banned from a buffet for putting too much food on the table and only eating 25% of it. Napster. I was one of the people that made the mistake of downloading a Metallica song. I'm banned from the local caravan park for being a local kid. I was asked to please not come back from a Barnes & Noble bookstore. Fortunately, I didn't do anything to hurt the books. A girl and I were making out in a stall in the ladies' bathroom when an employee came in and simply waited near the sinks. 20 minutes must have passed and she still didn't leave. So the girl I was with leaves first while I sit on top of the toilet seat. But we must not have been very clever or quiet because this woman was still waiting for me to give up. When I did, we were very politely banned from the store. Jokes on them. 8 years later the place went out of business. 13-year-old me won in the end. He made out with a girl in a public restroom. Pretty sure he won from the beginning. My buddies and I are banned from a Target. We got a little too rough with the Nerf sword fight we were having. Enough with the orange reds making dong fight references. Sheesh. When my parents lived in Florida my senior year of high school, my best friend and I flew down to visit them on spring break. To prepare for my very first trip to the beach ocean, my father made about 2 liters of bullfrogs. We took 2 separate vehicles. When we got to the beach, my roommate, little brother, and my stepmother and I went down to the water. We waited for my father, other brother, and cousins for about 20 minutes and they never showed up. We went to check on them and the police were there. They saw my dad unloading the coolers and confiscated his drinks, and then banned us all from the beach for 24 hours. Sure, it wasn't a lifetime ban, but it wasn't a day at the beach either. I swore on RuneScape. My mom likes to ban herself from places instead. Like say she had crappy service somewhere and complained to the manager and said she's never coming back. She really won't. Once I wanted Italian really bad. I was young, but my mom had banned herself from the Italian restaurant down the road for some reason. She took me there and let me go in and get my food, but refused to get out of the car. She takes that crap seriously. That's called boycotting. I do it too. Close bracket. This is the goodest flyboy. He will bring you 10 years of happiness in exchange for a like on this video. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.